YouTube says it has had enough of vaccine misinformation on its site.
And false stories from phony sites to run circles around major news outlets.
Many people don't know the difference between something real and something created to deceive them.
Open your eyes.
If you've ever had this feeling that something was terribly wrong with the world that we live in, but you couldn't figure out just what it was, then you've come to the right place. Secret societies, mystery religions, and the Illuminati have been controlling our reality since the beginning of time. But not anymore, because there is an awakening happening, and you are about to become a part of it. Wake up, because this is a call for an uprising.
This is a call for an uprising. Welcome to today's show. If you've had at least a little bit of inclination about Peter Thiel potentially being the Antichrist, or at least one of the people ushering in the Antichrist, because of course, as we know, he's going around the country, as I've covered before, speaking about the Bible and the Antichrist and the end times. Well, get a load of this story. Billionaire Peter Thiel's capital firm is backing an AI cow collar startup at a $2 billion valuation. Now you might say, well, cow collar, those things have existed for a long time, right? We've seen cows, obviously, on farms that have tags on their ears. And of course, we know that they have GPS tracking ear tags on a lot of these animals. We've seen stories of how even in national parks like Yellowstone or Yosemite, where these animals are tagged, and if they go into certain areas, well, the rangers will come and round them up and bring them back, because they can end up in a dangerous area where they might get eaten or attacked by another animal or get too close to civilians. But that's not what this is. Get a load of what this is. Founded in 2016, Halter's core product is its GPS-enabled collar, which creates virtual fences, allowing farmers to manage and move cattle without physical barriers. Using audio cues and gentle vibrations, ranchers can guide and contain herds remotely from a smartphone without breaking ground or stringing wires. The collars also track location and animal health data, all of which is visible through a mobile app, and they run on solar power, making them suitable for large-scale pasture farming. Now you're hearing that, you're probably going, well, what are you getting at here? Well, using audio cues and gentle vibrations, also known as using frequencies, right? Using frequencies to guide the cows. So they're using invisible fences. No, these aren't electric fences where they're going to get too close to the fence part and they're going to get zapped like a dog. You know, we've all heard about dogs with electric fences. No. They're using frequencies that are going to be guided to the cow's brain, that's going to tell the cow which direction to go, where to move, where to stay away from, or what to stay away from. It'll probably tell them what to eat, where to crap, and who to mate with, right? But the common person doesn't understand frequencies, and they don't understand how important frequencies are, because they can't see them with their own eyes. And these people have been manipulating us through frequencies, using frequencies, whether it's frequencies that come from a television set that can put you in a certain state of mind that make you very susceptible to mind control, or frequencies that can fry your brain, like they're doing with a lot of the EMF frequencies that are coming from a lot of the devices that surround us on a day in, day out basis. And this, of course, is being funded by who else than Peter Thiel.
I am proud to be gay.
Well, you certainly can't argue that. You certainly are. But I mean, that's not something to be proud of. I mean, climbing Mount Everest, that's an achievement. Taking it up the Hershey Highway, well, I wouldn't say that as an achievement. So I don't really know how you could actually be proud of that. But Peter Thiel, again, who is one of the creepier people who is walking the earth at the moment, who, by the way, happens to be giving lectures again about the Antichrist all around America. He has a connection directly to pretty much everybody in the White House. He is a member of Opus Dei. He was trained under Father Arnie Panula. And again, Opus Dei is the secret hand of global affairs via the arm tentacle of the Vatican, which, of course, as we know, is at the very top of the pyramid. And this guy, Father Arnie, groomed Peter Thiel, and that's what you're seeing right now with Peter Thiel linking up, yoking up with the Conservative Party, bringing in all of this demonic technology, getting them to accept all of this demonic DARPA technology, whether it's Facebook, whether it's PayPal, whether it's Palantir, right? Because Peter Thiel is the founding father of Palantir. And Palantir is really the system that is going to bring in the beast system. It is the beast system. It is full-on monitor and tracking of all civilians. It is the thought police. Palantir will be responsible for all. In fact, right now, what you're seeing is very similar to what we saw with the cattle, right? Tracking the cattle, tracking their movements. Well, ICE is using Immigration OS by Palantir to track immigrants' movements. So does that sound very similar to what goes on with cattle, how they track the cattle's movements? Now you might say, how would they be tracking our movement? Well, via your phone, right? They're tracking people via their phones, their movements and their GPS on their phones. We have RFK and Maha in the White House who are launching a massive advertising campaign to encourage Americans to use wearable technology like Fitbits. What do you think? That's because they care about your health? You think that's why they want you to wear a Fitbit? Because they care about how much processed food you're eating? They wouldn't be making the processed food if they cared about your health. They would cut it all out. And they make sure that people ate actual healthy food. They wouldn't be putting chemicals that you can't pronounce in every single processed food that is sold in every single grocery store. But you might say, well, that's just tracking movements. Okay? What they're talking about with the cows is being able to send messages to their brains with frequencies that would get the cows to stay within certain areas and get them to move around inside of an area wherever the farmer wants them to move. Well, of course, we could go from wearables to what's next, which 99% of the population continues to ignore. They just see Elon Musk and cheer for him because he's hanging out with Donald Trump and saying things that make sense online. Of course, it's not really him, it's a bot about trans people, even though he's got his own trans kid himself, and baiting people in the left-right paradigm. So they ignore the fact that Peter Thiel and Elon Musk are the founders of PayPal and very close friends. So when we talk about how they will be able to move cattle with these collars via frequencies to their brains, well, we can think about Elon Musk, right? Because the Neuralink is literally a Fitbit for your brain. Just ask him.
In a lot of ways, it's kind of like a Fitbit in your skull with tiny wires. We feel confident about getting the link procedure, the installation of a link, done in under an hour. So you can basically go in the morning and leave the hospital in the afternoon. In a lot of ways, it's kind of like a Fitbit in your skull with tiny wires.
So Peter Thiel's best buddy, Elon Musk, is actually developing a chip that can go in your brain. But of course, they're telling you that this is for your benefit. It's to help people who have Lou Gehrig's disease or Alzheimer's or any kind of disability. This is going to save them. It's a miracle. That's why we should accept it in our society, right? Just ask that witch May Musk, his own mother, who you could see here doing the all-seeing eye on magazine covers, right? Who you could see just over and over and over, just doing satanic symbolism, even the Baphomet horns. Here she is talking about how it would be crazy for people not to want to be chipped.
And this Neuralink, people saying, why I don't want something in my head. I said, well, you aren't paralyzed. So, or you aren't blind.
Good point.
If you're blind and you don't want to see, then you can argue the point. You don't have to have a chip in your head.
I think he's the genius of the world.
And this Neuralink, people saying, why I don't want something in my head. I said, well, you aren't paralyzed. So, or you aren't blind.
Good point.
If you're blind and you don't want to see, then you can argue the point. You don't have to have a chip in your head. A chip in your head. A chip in your head.
So, of course, they tell you and sell you this technology, just like they're doing with the cows, how this is beneficial for the farmers. Well, this is going to be beneficial for humanity because this is going to help people who are, disabled. And then it's going to move from people who are disabled to people who are less fortunate or people who have learning disabilities or people who are just not smart. It's not fair, right? Because they grew up in a bad neighborhood and you grew up in an Ivy League school. Well, they should be able to get a brain chip, right? You heard her there. I mean, it'd be crazy for people to say, well, you don't want to actually be chipped, right? You don't want to be controlled by frequencies. And this is what we're headed towards with 6G. Because remember, 6G is inside the body. It's not outside the body, it's inside the body. And this is what it looks like. And keep in mind when you watch these clips, keep in mind what this video is about. The story of how the cows will be moved around via frequencies, via an app and AI, without anything other than that in between them. Just a collar on their neck that moves them around, that makes them think they want to go here versus there. And then think about this.
Matrix. Control. The Matrix is a computer-generated dream world built to keep us under control in order to change a human being into this.
Future, you will have such a good digital twin that you'll be able to go into the metaverse, into a virtual reality world, turn a dial, pull a switch, feel around, and actually change it in the real plant.
Absolutely, absolutely. And this is not far off. I mean, the physical and the digital worlds, they will grow together, and the result is exactly what you just said.
I wanted to ask when you all think we're going to move from this form factor to something that's on your face, glasses, and when computing's all on the edge.
All right, 50 seconds. Who wants to answer quickly?
I think it will go. It will. First of all, it will definitely happen. I was talking about 6G earlier, which is around 2030. I would say that by then, definitely the smartphone as we know it today will not anymore be the usual kind of the most common interface. Wow. Many of these things will be built directly into our bodies.
Stunned by the sudden rollout of Rook Unlimited's most fantastic device ever, the Smart Mark. Because the Smart Mark is more than just a phone. It's part of you. Use it as cash and even shoot video. Distribution points are all over the city. The Rook Unlimited Smart Mark is worth the wait.
The Smart Mark has brought order to my life.
And the best part? It's absolutely free.
23% of the population has been given the Smart Mark, #1.
Time to test our system, Let's put our new recruits to work, subtly.
We should find the Flex Fighters.
I ought to find the Flex Fighters.
We should find the Flex Fighters.
You call yourself a man of science. World order is our destiny. Submit to a Smart Mark and join the glorious victory of order over chaos.
People think Smart Marks are brand new Rook tech that will improve their lives.
But your chip makes it possible to control everyone in Charter City, whether they're marked or not.
What if I told you I could offer you something that would enable you to walk again? A computer chip that has the potential to change everything. Better brain.
I am STEM, the system operating your body for you. Anybody else hear you? No, only you.
Sammy's got a knife!
I see that. We have a knife too. You now have full control again, Gray. There's a gun implanted inside his hand.
Good morning. This is your wake-up call.
The year is 2021. It is no longer safe to transmit information. Phones, computers, and satellites are all vulnerable. Your storage capacity?
I can carry nearly 80 gigs of data in my head.
Input the data into the brain of a human courier in a future.
You're locked on him.
Where those who control the information control the world.
The Doctor.
Virtual reality holds a key to the evolution of the human mind.
With a vision of the future.
I have a game in my house that you might like to play. Would you like that? Yeah.
Food games.
I even have one that could help make you smarter.
Now, Job Smith is about to enter the world of virtual reality.
It's gonna hit me! No, Job, just relax. It's gonna be like being up there with the stars, Job. Like going to another planet. His mind is like a clean, hungry sponge.
A world where the normal course of events can suddenly turn inside out.
You realize, Dr. Angelo, that my intelligence has surpassed yours.
The imaginary becomes real.
Trying to get inside my head, Joe.
You can't hide anything from me, Dr. Angelo. And reality...
We have no idea what he's gonna do.
...is all in your mind.
So that's what we're headed towards, right? I've talked about the Smart Mark before, the clip from Stretch Armstrong, for anyone out there that wants to look up the episode themselves or the clip themselves. That's from Stretch Armstrong, the cartoonist. Smart Mark. What does it sound a lot like? Smart Mark, anything to do with the mark of the beast? You got Peter Thiel going around the country talking about the mark of the beast and end times prophecies, and this is what they want to bring in. They want to tell you that there's technology available that people should invest in. They can get cows to move around, so they have to build in. I mean, why build a fence? That's too much labor, right? We can't have manual labor building a fence. Oh my goodness. Let's use technology to manipulate the mind. Now, people only understood how important frequencies are, right? How frequencies can put you into sedated states. How frequencies could make you, extremely susceptible to mind control, right? The delta waves, different brain waves, which put your brain in a different state of mind via frequency, right? When you watch TV, you go down to a delta state, and that makes your mind very programmable. We've heard artists, like I've covered in the past, like Lil Nas X, talking about how all these musicians know about frequencies and use frequencies on the listeners to do different things, to make them feel different things, to make them act different ways. They think that they're so much smarter than us, all of these guys in big tech, because everybody out there is so dumbed down. But if you understood frequencies, and then you look around and see all those towers around us, and understand that frequencies can't be seen with the visible eye, but frequencies have the ability to manipulate the mind. Have you ever seen those video clips where people play music, certain types of music, and put it directed at plants, and then they film it over time? And if it's like heavy metal music, you'll see the plant wither over time. Even a day or two, the plant will start to wither. And if it's different types of frequencies, like classical music, the plant will flourish, it'll blossom and grow. Now think about how they could do that to human beings. And then you see people who are completely unhinged. You see people who are completely depressed based on the types of frequencies that they're listening to. Or you just start realizing you don't even have to be listening to music at this point, because we've allowed all of these towers around us, and we're getting sent frequencies on a day in, day out basis, whether it's from those towers or from the devices inside of our home, which without our ears actually being able to hear it, are sending frequencies and sound waves to our brains. So that's what the world is going to look like. That's why I'm doing the video. The thing with the cows, it's not about the cows. It's not about the fact that the cows are going to have wearables that are going to do this to them. It's about how you're going to have this technology under the skin, as Yuval Harari and all of these other scumbags from the World Economic Forum have told us, right? Klaus Schwab, Yuval, what have they always said and constantly said? It's about changing you and getting under your skin.
The really big thing is hacking human beings. To hack human beings, you need a lot of biological knowledge, a lot of computing power, and especially a lot of data. If you have enough data about me and enough computing power and biological knowledge, you can hack my body, my brain, my life. You can reach a point when you know me better than I know myself. And once you reach that point, and we are very close to that point, then democracy, the free market, as we have, and actually all political systems, also authoritarian regimes, we have no idea what happens once you pass that point. Now, in the past, many tyrants and governments wanted to do it, but nobody understood biology well enough. And nobody had enough computing power and data to hack millions of people. Neither the Gestapo nor the KGB could do it. But soon, at least some corporations and governments will be able to systematically hack all the people. We humans should get used to the idea that we are no longer mysterious souls. We are now hackable animals. Does the data about my DNA, my brain, my body, my life, does it belong to me, or to some corporation, or to the government, or perhaps to the human collective? Humans are now hackable animals. You know, the whole idea that humans have, they have this soul or spirit and they have free will and nobody knows what's happening inside me. So whatever I choose, whether in the election or whether in the supermarket, this is my free will, that's over. Free will, that's over.
That's over.
Over. Today, We have the technology to hack human beings on a massive scale. Yeah, I mean, everything is being digitalized. Everything is being monitored. In this time of crisis, you have to follow science. It's often said that you should never allow a good crisis to go to waste, because a crisis is an opportunity to also do good reforms that in normal times people will never agree to. But in a crisis, you see, we have no chance. So let's do it.
Vaccine won't help us go
the
to
vaccine
the test, of course.
will help us, of course. It will make things, more manageable. Surveillance. People could look back in 100 years and identify the coronavirus epidemic as the moment when a new regime of surveillance took over, especially surveillance under the skin, which I think is maybe the most important development of the 21st century, is this ability to hack human beings, to go under the skin, collect biometric data, analyze it, and understand people better than they understand themselves. This, I believe, is maybe the most important event of the 21st century.
One of the features of this fourth industrial revolution is that it doesn't change what we are doing, but it changes us.
The difference of this fourth industrial revolution is it doesn't change what you are doing, it changes you. If you take genetic editing, just as an example, it's you who are changed. And of course this has a big impact on your identity.
And offers certain kinds of possibilities that have to be careful about. When you began to do that kind of gene editing, some people worry that you are changing what it means to be human.
That's the problem. Of course, the new industrial revolution offers us many opportunities, but it raises manifold questions on the ethical, but even legal implications. And we have to be prepared for it, and that's what we want to do in Davos next year. So this fourth industrial revolution is, it doesn't change what you are doing, it changes you. If you take genetic editing, just as an example, it's you who are changed.
That's what it's all about. And that's what the plan is. Not to have you walking around with a collar, to have it actually inside of your body. And then, just like the cows, they'll be able to use things that you don't know about, apps and all sorts of things that they have. And they'll be able to control your thoughts. They'll be able to control your mind to make you do things that you wouldn't normally do. And this only happens if we continue to allow technology to, quote unquote, evolve, as they like to tell us, that these are beneficial to mankind. Yes, let's get rid of farmers and replace it with robotics that can be controlled via an app, right? Nobody thinks about the dangers of all of these things, removing humans and having all of this stuff that John Deere is doing that I covered, where it's all connected to Skynet, Starlink. And they can control all the tractors and all the farming from above. People go, oh, well, I don't know if I like that. And then they go, well, the only ones who are doing the picking on the farm anyway are the immigrants, so let them do it. Let's get the immigrants out of here, right? Because they've created a society of racist, brainwashed fools who now, can't stand the sight of people who don't have the same skin color as them, because it's all mind control. And that's all done via propaganda, via frequencies. And we have a world where they want everything to be automated, including you. I thank everybody for being here. I hope you're all doing well. God bless you and your families, as always.